So the NBA draft is like in a week, and I decided, what, let's do one more mock draft, and why not do one more mock draft, one last mock draft with another person? So I'm doing a collab today with my boy Dedrick. Hope I'm saying that right. Um, I'm gonna be doing the lottery. He's gonna be doing the rest of the first round. Um, then we're gonna be doing the grading it after on his channel. Go check out his channel. He makes amazing content. A lot more football stuff, but great YouTuber. Go subscribe to him. So, anyways, no further ado. Let's start out with the draft. First overall, I'm gonna take Alex Sarr out of where- I'm gonna take Alex Sarr out of. He's from the NBL, but people say he's Jared Jackson. I kind of see Chris Webber. Very versatile. Not really like a person we've seen before. I want to say Shaq, but no, he's definitely not like Shaq. I don't know. I guess Triple J is how he plays. Like he is a great player, great shot block, great finisher. Still needs to work on his three, but I think he will be good for the Hawks. Maybe for the five. Yeka could be traded. I don't know. For the future, I think he is the best player in the draft. And let's go on to the second pick. Now, with the second overall pick, lots of players could be picked. I've had Topic in a lot of drafts, but he's really slowed down. I've seen NBA interest shift on him. I really don't think he's has a chance to be a top 10 pick anymore. Now, because of his ACL injury, his lack of shooting. I've seen lots of teams um, slide. I think he will be slide at the draft. We'll get into that later, though. And I think they're not going to pick Topic here. I think they should get Rich Shepard to play the two. Koulibaly can move up to three. Don't really care which Georgia will trade him. Um, they can get point guard later in the draft. They have some other picks, like I think 26 in the first round. Justin Dedrick will get that. Um, Great shooter, basically in everything. I see Derek White in him. You could see other things. I really do think he is an all around player. So 6'1". He's 6'1". I thought he was 6'4". Oh wait, college is doing shoes. Oh my, he's a good defender for his size though. I do think he is athletic. I just realized that. I'm keeping that in. The third overall pick, the Houston Rockets. There's lots of players they could go with here, but I do think if they don't trade the pick, which I they could trade the pick for a win now player, or they can get someone who could help them right now. Zachary Risasher, I think he is kind of a win now player. I don't really think he's going to take too long to develop. I do think he has the most potential to be a bust in the top 10. Um, Number one, he's not the top prospect. It's when it's like go big or go home with Zachary Risasher. Great 3-and-D player. Could be a Harrison Barnes type player. Could be a good player. Even if they don't, I don't think this is their pick. Their pick's like, oh no, their pick is Thunder. Any and they are still a good team. I really don't think this pick counts, even if it doesn't work out. If and they know immediately get the draft, they could trade the pick. So I have Zachary Risashe there. Zachary Risashe. Donovan Clingan. I'll just present this. Why is he the fourth overall pick? The San Antonio Spurs. They need a point guard. They need playmaking and shooting. Um, just someone to help Wemby unlock his superstar potential. And I have them selecting Stephon Castle, but not for the reason you think. It says point guard right there. It says point guard. Let me use my mouse. It says point guard right there. But hear me out. I think he's more of a shooting guard because he's a good defender. Yeah, he's a good defender. He's not as good of a playmaker as you might like him to be. Um, he's a good shooter. I think he's more of a shooting guard. He is 6'5". Yeah, he's 6'5", like 6'6" and shoes. Um, could be a good shooting guard. To help Wemby. Devin Vassell can move up to the three. Keldon Johnson can go to the Wizards or something. I don't know. Keldon Johnson could be traded. I don't know. But I have him here for fifth overall pick, the Detroit Pistons. They desperately need shooting, and I think probably the best shooter that has enough upside with Montez Vizelis, and I have seen him in a lot more drafts as the fifth pick. And I do think it could work. He's a good shooter, showed potential. He hit that game winner over Brandon Miller in the Rising Stars game back in like February. Great player, really high potential in this draft. I think he could fit well with the Pistons. As for Thompson, he might be a little undersized, but I think they could push him up to the four because he's a really good rebounder, not a good shooter. The Montez Brazilians can play three. Have him here five. You get a drink. Jeez. Okay. Sixth pick, Ron Holland. Where is he? Where's Ron? Ron Holland out of the G League tonight. Montez Brazili's teammate, so they go back to back. I think he really has moved down since last year. Probably would have been the first pick last year. He's athletic. He's a good finisher. He's a good defender. I think Charlotte does need good defense. Brandon Miller can move down to the two. Ron Holland can play the three. They could figure out something else. LaMelo can play the one. Trey Man could be their sixth man in the future. Trey Man, he has really been a lot. I told you guys. I never said that, but like I knew he was gonna be good. But anyways, great defender. Could be missing piece for the Charlotte Hornets to go back to a playing spot. Maybe probably not playoffs. If they make the playoffs next year, I swear. Um, yeah, have him at six. The seventh pick, we have the first big trade we have the first trade of the lottery, and it's to Memphis, and we can't really trade the pick here, but they basically just swap picks. Say like Portland gets an extra first round pick for next year, maybe extra first and 2 seconds, maybe to get a player. I don't know. I think the Memphis Grizzlies is going to trade up because they're scared that Clinton could be picked by the Spurs or someone else. It's two picks, and yeah, maybe they get off someone's bad contract. I don't know. San Antonio Spurs have Toronto's pick. Now that does suck for Toronto. Toronto would need a lot of guys here. But now this is where they get their point guard. And I think they're gonna get Rob Dillingham out of Kentucky. Now Rob Dillingham, the Kentucky Wildcats, they were just bad. I think Rob Dillingham is a good point guard. He's talked a lot about good things about Wemby, how he wants to be a Spur. I do think the chemistry thing could work. He could start at point guard over Trey Jones, or just take a spot later in the year. 6'1". People say Trey Young. He's a good shooter. He's basically everything that the Spurs need. If the Magic were to trade up, I think they should give Rob Dillingham. Like they need shooting and they may need playmaking kinda. They need three new players, but have him at 8 to the Spurs. At 9, the Trailblazers. The the Portland Trailblazers trade back to 9, so they traded. It was Don Clingan and Macklemore. But Macklemore is still in the league. Oh my god, I forgot about him. I forgot about that guy. And with the ninth pick, I've seen lots of players that they could have picked here. On their Instagram, they scout a lot of players. They have lots of stuff about the draft. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but Cody Williams was one of the first people they gave a thing on, like they had a workout with him. I really do think they're interested in bringing him in. He could be a great player to help them with just stuff. I don't know. I really don't know much about Cody Williams. He was a backup for their game. They were like one of the worst teams in the entire March Madness bracket. So don't really know much about Colorado. But 10th pick, I have the Utah Jazz getting Dalton Knight. Now, obviously, I really don't know what the Jazz are gonna do. Lots of like win now players. They got lots of young players. They have their point guard basically set, Keontae George, good playmaker. They have Walker Kessler at center. They have Taylor Hendricks at power forward. They got some other good players in their locker room. I do think they need a wing, and I think Dalton Knight's basically the last wing available, other by Jacoby Walter. And Jacoby Walter, I just haven't seen like any of him this entire year, and I'm not going to be surprised if he falls to the second round. I just don't really know if he hasn't really proven himself to me. So Dalton Knight at 10. Out of 11, we have Tejan Salon. I think that's how you say it, Salon. Another French prospect. Power forward. Don't really know much about him. McDonald's. I know he's international. I know Trailblazers wanted him, and he's been an intriguing prospect. Could fit with the Bulls. I think he's probably fits. Could be a replacement for Patrick Williams, and yeah. The 12th overall pick. This is the second trade that we have, and this involves a trade in another video. I had go watch that. My four trades, and this involves the Wizards and the Thunder, and don't get picked back. Kyle Kuzma to the Thunder, basically Josh. I think it was like Josh Giddey, Kenrich Williams, and the 12th pick for Kyle Kuzma. Um, I do think the Wizards do that. That's probably a good option for them. Josh Giddey could be a good playmaker that maybe could flip. I don't know. And I have them taking Nikola Topic out of Serbia. Now, Nikola Topic is one of my favorite prospects in the class. Can't shoot, but he can do basically everything else. And I do think they will take a chance on him. Speaking of Wizards, just a short segment, but have you guys seen that 7'9" teenager? I swear, when he enters the draft, he's going to be picked by the Wizards. They're doing anything. They just love funky players. Manute Bull, George Mearson, Mokesy Pokes, they just... Anyways, Nikola Topic, he's a great player. I think teams should still take a chance on him. And let's go on to number 13. 13th overall pick. We have a big riser recently, and that is Tristan da Silva out of Colorado. Now he plays with Cody Williams. I think he is the better player. He is a win-now player. Could replace Harrison Barnes in the starting lineup. Could be a lineup with De'Aaron Fox, maybe like Keon Ellis, Tristan da Silva, or no, Malik Monk if he doesn't leave. Tristan da Silva, Keegan Murray. Or he could switch Keegan Murray and Tristan da Silva. It don't really matter. It's Montes bonus. Harrison Barnes could be the sixth man or something. I don't know. Yeah, great player here, Tristan da Silva. And, yeah. And now we have the last pick of the lottery. And, might not agree with this. I think Anthony Simons is definitely being traded this offseason to some team. And Jared McCain could be a good replacement. Now, hear me out. A lineup of Skill Henderson, the one. At the 2, Jared McCain. At the 3, Shaden Sharp. And at the 4, someone else. The 4 and 5, someone else. Or Malcolm Brogdon at the 1, I really don't care. Jared McCain could be a great piece to add to their depth. And that is the last pick of the lottery. And actually, the video doesn't end right now. We still have to cut to Justin Dedrick. Hope you enjoyed my segment, and Let's go on to Justin Dedrick's part.
All right, so here we are. My name is Justin Dedrick. I have the second half of the first round in the collab with Boston Hoops. You guys saw the first 14 picks. I filled them out the exact same way that he did, except for the trade between 9 and 7, but that doesn't affect any of our picks starting here at 15. So we have the Miami Heat on the clock at 15. And I see somebody right here at the top in Devin Carter, who I think would be a perfect fit. He's a Heat culture guy, hustle, great on defense, athletic, really improved on offense this past year at Providence. I think the Heat would love to have a point guard in him. He can play alongside Jimmy Butler and Tyler Herro very nicely. That brings us to 16. After this loads a little bit, there we go, 16 with my team, the 76ers. I'm a 76ers fan, unfortunately for me. And I actually would really like Devin Carter, but he just went beforehand. So I'm going to go with a little bit of an odd pick here. I'm going to go Isaiah Collier, someone who I would take as a Sixers fan. Had a good year as a true freshman this past year, 16 points, 50% from the field, as you can see. A lot of developing needed, but he's a good point guard. The Sixers desperately need a backup guard who can score a little bit, create his own shot. Collier is just that, with a lot of potential, too. He was a top 5 recruit. He's got a lot of untapped potential there. And the Lakers, I think the Lakers probably end up trading this pick. The Lakers need a lot. They need help. And I kind of like a guy in Kyle Filipowski here. He can stretch the floor, which works well in pick and roll with LeBron and AD. He's got size, good rebounding skill, great defensively around the rim. I think LeBron would like to play against stretch big like him. They tried that a few years ago with Christian Wood, and that just didn't work. See if Filipowski fills that role. Brings us to pick 18, the Orlando Magic. I watched a lot of the Cavs Magic series this year, and something that the Magic strike me as missing a lot is shooting wings. They have a lot of wings in general, but not a lot of shooting wings. And so I see Johnny Furphy here, and I'm intrigued by that. So I'm going to go with him. A little bit of a project player. He's kind of a 3-and-D guy at the moment. I think he can develop into being more of, an off the dribble kind of on ball defender here. He's more of kind of an off the help corner shooter, but he's got potential there. Definitely as a shooter. That Jet Howard and Caleb Houston experiments isn't really working. You try again here with Furphy. At 19, the Raptors have been tough for me to pick. And it's kind of because they're all over the place. They have no direction. Their team has no identity at the moment. So let's give him an identity. You've got Jakob Poeltl. You've got him under a long contract. You've got Kelly Olynyk. You're good bigs. You need another wing, right? Barrett's a guard. Trent's a guard. You need someone who can kind of switch between that 3 and that 4 position on the wing. And I've got somebody in mind, actually. And this might be a little bit of a reach. This might be a little bit of a reach. I'm going to go with Tyler Smith here out of the G League Ignite. An incredible shooter. He showcased that this past year at the G League Ignite. Good size at 6'9", about 230 pounds. He can switch between that 3 and that 4 positions. Guard probably 2 through 5 on the court. He's got a lot of untapped potential. The Raptors just need to go with potential. They don't have a lot going for him right now, which leaves me with the Cavs at 20. I'm friends with quite a few Cavs fans, so I know their concerns at the moment. And their concerns don't match what my concerns are. They want Zach Edey here. I'm not going to listen to my friends. I'm not going to go Zach Edey. I'm going to go with Kaishan George here because they need wings, especially wings who can shoot, similar to that Johnny Furphy pick. They didn't really have much wing production outside of Max Strus, and is he really a wing? He's 6'4". Give him Kaishan George here. Definitely a developmental guy. Isn't going to be playing right away, but I feel like eventually he can take those minutes from like George Niang, maybe a little bit from Isaac Okoro, who really just can't shoot at this point in his career. We know that at this point. So we'll give the Cavs with Kaishan George. They develop wings decently well, so we'll see how that works with them. And the Pelicans at 21. This is easy for me. I'm going to go Zach Edey. Valanciunas is a free agent. You might not end up re-signing him. You can replace the Valanciunas production with Edey, who clearly produced in college, 2-time Naismith Player of the Year. Can that translate over to the NBA? I don't know, but we're going to see, and I hope it does for the Pelicans' sake in this mock draft and give them Zach Edey. Now the Suns. What do I do with the Phoenix Suns, man? The Suns are such a train wreck. I'd like. Oh man, there really isn't much I like about the team. I was gonna say a compliment, and then I backtracked on that because there isn't much complimenting the Phoenix Suns. Let's see. Where do the Suns go? The Suns go Ryan Dunn. That's where the Suns go. Dunn is probably the best defender, pure defender in this draft. I felt like the Phoenix Suns defense kind of got picked apart, especially in the playoff series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They desperately need defense because Booker isn't doing it, Beal isn't doing it, Durant isn't doing it, and Nurkic isn't doing it. Go with a defensive-minded guy in Ryan Dunn, who's only 20 years old and with good size at 6'6" 2". You can mold him offensively a little bit of like the Mikal Bridges project that they had. And now we got the Bucks. The Bucks need instant production. They need help. And you look at this team, they have a lack of a backup point guard. That's perfect for Tyler Kolek right here at 25. Backup point guard, the perfect, old style point guard mold who's got to set up an offense, get a lot of assists, drive to the rack, and hit a few threes. He's an experienced guy, 22 years old, played a lot of college ball. He can come in there and play meaningful minutes right now. And the Knicks, the New York Knicks, who eliminated my team. I didn't see many holes with the Knicks roster. However, you can never have too many shooters. And Jacoby Walter is a 3-and-D guy who was a true freshman this past year, put up good numbers, showed a lot of promise being an on-ball defender, and a lot of promise as just a spot-up shooter. You can never have too many of those guys. 3-and-D, the Knicks go with that for their first pick. And their second pick, which I almost forgot they had, and I remembered as soon as I took Jacoby Walters. It doesn't really matter the order. Seeing here, Precious Achua is a free agent. Let's go backup center. Let's mold a guy and Yves Misi from Baylor, another one of the true freshmen. So the Knicks draft young this year. Just get an athletic rim runner who can play in the pick and roll with Jalen Brunson, catch some lobs, get some rebounds. Not a bad draft there for the Knicks at 24 and 25. With the Wizards, the Wizards, the Wizards. Where did we go with the Wizards earlier? That's my question. As I look through this, so they have Reed Shepherd, and then they do have Nikola Topic. They made a trade in Boston Hoops part, which you saw for Topic. I didn't make that here, but I do remember that. So they went guard heavy. They went guard heavy. So we're gonna go on the opposite side and go with Khalil Ware here. He's been projected maybe even as early as lottery now. After team workouts and the combine, he had a really good day. In this scenario where he falls to 26 with the Wizards, I'm sure they're so happy. They're ecstatic with this. Get a productive center who's got. There's questions about his motor that seem to be answered. Good size, good offensive skill set. Can mold him into becoming a starting center. And the Timberwolves at 27. I know where I want to go with them. And it might be a little weird one. But I'm going to go with Baylor Shireman. I know they have a lot of wings, but you can't have too many. And Shireman can shoot. He can defend. He's a great rebounder for his size at 6'6". He's played a lot of ball, so he's ready to come in and compete instantly. They need instant impact. And Shireman is just that for them. They need someone who can help propel them to that next level, which is, since they made the conference finals, next level is the NBA Finals. And speaking of someone who wants to get back to the NBA Finals, here with the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets, to me, need size, to be honest. I don't really buy into Zeke Naji that much. But when you're looking at the size that's left on the board, you don't see much. We look at the centers here. I mean, maybe Jonathan Mogbo. He's had quite a good workout. But I think we're going to end up going with a guy in DeRon Holmes, a little bit undersized, but he plays down low. He plays like a big. He plays bigger than he is. Great offensively, a good shooter, really athletic. He's a rim runner, can catch lobs. Him with Jokic would be really, really fun to watch. And then we get to the Jazz. The Jazz, to me, they need to go full on potential. They need to draft potential because they don't have much on that team right now. And to me, that screams a guy like Bub Carrington, Carlton Bub Carrington. He's got everything. He can pass, he can rebound, he can score, create his own shot. He shot better off the dribble than he did catch and shoot this last year, which is a little bit weird. He was a true freshman, good size at 6'3", about 200 pounds for a point guard. Kind of have him play next to Colin Sexton and Kente George and see how that works. See if you can develop Bub Carrington, which leaves us with the Boston Celtics at the last pick. Congratulations to the Celtics and Celtics fans for getting their 18th NBA title. As a Sixers fan, it's not the most fun thing to see for me, but congratulations to you all. You guys played really, really good basketball down the stretch. Do I see holes in Boston? Boston doesn't really have many holes. That's why they won the NBA championship. Maybe just bench depth. I mean, they played some good minutes out of Tillman and Hauser. When Peyton Pritchard played, he played good. I would maybe prepare for life without um without Al Horford because I know that he said he's going to come back. But how is Al Horford going to regress? How good is he going to be when he comes back next year? How many more years does he come back? So we're gonna go with a guy in Bobby Clement from Sweden. Good size, a 6'8", 212. He plays down low, kind of like a 3-4 hybrid. I know, it's different position area than what Al Horford would be, but he plays down low, he rebounds, he bangs inside, he gets those defensive stops, which is what Horford does exactly. And I think Celtics have time to work with a project player, considering they just won the championship. They don't need more instant impact. They can develop a guy. And that leaves us with our draft, right? We see here my picks down starting at 15 with Devin Carter, and then the rest of my picks on that right side. This is a pretty good looking mock draft. I'm kind of excited for this year's draft, considering we don't really know who the top guys are going to be. There's a lot of controversy at the top of who's going to be number one. What's that order going to look like? So I'm excited to watch this draft. You guys should subscribe to both me and Boston Hoops channels because I know he's going to be having draft content and I'm going to be having draft content. And yeah, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed this mock draft.